Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Advent Cable Network Nigeria. This is another exciting edition of Now Streaming, your morning talk show, where we address burning issues, celebrate good news, and discuss topics that have the potential to change our lives. I'm your host, Mojisola, and with me on this Thursday morning,
Charles Philip Owakolam. Good morning and welcome to Now Streaming. Good morning, Moji.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. We will be discussing the trending news for this morning, Thursday, the 23rd of September. Do remember to call in with your comments and questions. It's always a pleasure to hear from you.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, it is. And our first story is one that is not very new. It keeps coming back like the proverbial bad penny. It keeps coming back. And that's over 8,000 Boko Haram terrorists surrendered to army troops.
Yes. It's not like it happened once. Was a report that so far over 8,000 have surrendered, and it was reported by authority newspaper. The general officer commanding said this is because of the ongoing onslaught against the terrorists, Boko Haram, bandits, and the rest of them, and they are deploying strategies, to cut off their supplies and all that. So they have no option than to start coming out from their hidings, the forest, and they're also being attacked by diseases and the rest of it. And so
he's warning that the window for surrender is closing.
Yes.
And that very soon surrender will no longer be an option. Okay, so let's also take a very similar headline to that.
Yeah, by the way, it was the acting general officer commanding 7th Division Brigadier General Abdul Wahab Eyitayo. He said it during a visit by a team led by Director Army Public Relations Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu. They met him in Maiduguri.
Okay, so while they're surrendering, we now have BORNO state government that is commencing a public program to reconcile and reintegrate repentant Boko Haram elements. I hope they're calling it RRR. RRR program. And they report that the program is being funded by the European Union in collaboration with UNICEF, that's the United Nations Children's Fund,
yes,
UNDP, the United Nations Development Program, and International Organization for Migration.
Well,
I'm of two views here. One side of me is saying, really? Like, enough chaos and mayhem has been caused, and this is the solution.
Yes.
Why are they not making so much effort to rehabilitate and reintegrate, and help the people that are still living in IDP camps because of this same group of people? Another side of me is saying, okay, I know there are some parts of the world where they try to, instead of punish offenders in certain crimes, they try to reorient, if you will, saying that punishing them makes them only harder.
Yes.
But we're also looking with one eye at Afghanistan and the drama that has played out there in the last few years, right up until this minute. And it now leaves us bewildered, like what exactly
is going on? What's happening? And
there's a picture there. I don't know if we have it up. There's a picture there in their immaculate white outfits and green. Yes.
With a touch of
very
green.
Patriotic.
This is a particular program that Nigerians are saying this is not the best.
time
do
for
at this time. These people have displaced lots of people. These people have maimed, killed lots of people, and so many families are in pain.
The Chibok girls are still not completely returned.
Exactly. And then these people show up and say, I have repented.
Sorry.
I am sorry. Then you just
and there's no repercussions, nothing.
It is not the best time, and there's been report of some of these people being absorbed into the armed forces and the rest of it.
Just like Afghanistan.
So what are we saying? Is this the best approach to get these people out of terrorism and the rest of the evil they carry out? I don't think so. And even on that story, I don't know if I'm going ahead of us, but Katsina Emir talking about this same kind of program, saying bandits deserve death, not dialogue. And the rest of it.
You know, that is, unfortunately, that is the view of, I dare say,
these people have put the whole of North in this area.
See, all the way from the confluence all the way up to the north.
Yes.
And it's like everybody is on. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Okay.
This is the same government that, and we keep saying it, this is the same government that went after IPOB like their lives depended on it. This is the same government that went really hard on peaceful protesters that were asking for ways of bettering the society.
Yes.
I mean, the demands were not unreasonable.
At all.
There was no violence until there was violence.
That's true. That's true.
And, I mean, deny it all we want. Some parties say, oh, they didn't know anything about it. Some parties say, but we watched these things unfold. And we're saying you could take such a decisive move on unarmed young people.
Yes.
And then you're turning around to say that, oh, these ones have repented and they should be reintegrated in the society, and they're being funded by everybody, UNDP, UNICEF, EU. This is ridiculous.
What of the victims of the activities?
Nothing is being said about them.
Nothing.
The
Exactly
IDP
nothing.
camps still exist.
I believe you're encouraging the people who have not joined them to join them. And some days ago, it was reported that Boko Haram are recruiting because of the loss of the people that went to surrender, that they are recruiting massively again. So in one way or the other, it seems you're encouraging these people to continue.
Look, they say some of us see conspiracy theories in everything. I think this one, and even a small child, would see a conspiracy playing out, an agenda, a hidden agenda playing out. And and this is my challenge really to our leaders. If there's no agenda, come out and tell us.
Exactly.
How they say it with your full chest. Come out and say there's no agenda, and prove it to us. And because this beats all.
Is it's I don't think the residents of these areas where
there are no residents.
He said there are no
residents. What happens is, this is what happens.
Yes.
They come into the community, kill as many as they can kill, kidnap as many as can be kidnapped. When the people run away, they take over the village and start living there. And they're coming back to say they're sorry, and you're spending so much money to reintegrate, rehabilitate, and I don't even know what the second reduce, reuse, and recycle. So let's move on to another battle that has been really ongoing in the last few weeks, and that's the tax battle.
Yes.
The value-added tax war. And so the governors have fired their shots, and presidency is firing
Back.
their response. And
I would say presidency is planning to fire maybe RPG or
so we now have the Buhari regime to sue Rivers and Lagos states at the Supreme Court.
Yes.
To end the VAT war once and for all. Speak to them in the language they understand. And they're considering suing the governments of Rivers and Lagos at the Supreme Court. Then that's quoting Abubakar Malami. That's the Attorney General of the Federation. He does. And they said one thing. Let me quote what he said. But one thing of interest is the fact that the federal government had indeed taken cognizance of the fact that where there exists a dispute between a state and federal government, it is the Supreme Court that should naturally have the jurisdiction to determine the dispute between the state and the federation. And they're taking steps to consider the possibility of instituting an action before the Supreme Court for the purpose of having this matter determined once and for all.
Yes, okay. The two states, let me not just say governors now, but the states, they believe they're on the side of the law, which allows the states to collect the value-added tax. Yes, and they have not done anything or any of the processes. They have not done it illegally. They believe they are on the right side. But right now, the appeal courts have ordered the two states to maintain the status quo.
No, but what the Attorney General is trying to say is that the appeal court does not have the jurisdiction to make that statement.
Yes, but that they are in support of what the appeal court said. But now they want to go to Supreme Court so that the case will be settled.
You know what? It all boils down to money.
Yes, of course.
Who has money? Who is giving it out? Who can we collect it from?
Okay.
My friend.
Governor Wike, for instance, I've been saying, you collect so much from me, you give me so little back, and then you collect
people that
very
are
little from some others, and you give them.
You don't even collect from them. I mean, if somebody is making, let's say about 3 billion, 4 billion, and is receiving 9 billion, you didn't collect anything from him. I'll be 36 billion, not 9 billion. You didn't collect anything. You just added to the little he had.
Yes.
You know. So what are we talking about?
So he believes it's not fair from the federal government, but we can only watch and believe the right decision should be taken at the end of it all. Yes.
So we're still talking money. Let's continue talking money. And so we're talking value-added tax on one hand. We're talking the other money talk that has been ongoing. Who has money to borrow who wants to borrow from who, and why is this borrowing? You know, that has really been a heated debate at every level of governance. Everybody is talking about it. And now, Buhari government more prudent, and this is quoting from The Sun, more prudent than all PDP governments, APC chieftain says.
Wow. Okay, so
so the Director General of the APC, of the All People Progressive Congress. All Progressive
Congress.
It's beginning to become a tongue twister. All Progressives Congress. Yes, APC. Progressive Governors Forum. Dr. Salihu Lukman has claimed that the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government is far more prudent than all People's Democratic Party governments between 1999 and 2015 put together. And he said this yesterday, and he's urging the opposition to stop politicizing the foreign borrowing by the federal government.
Yes, he was actually reacting to criticisms.
Now this is it. This is it. First 4 years of their governance, we actually saw them taking steps to curb bleeding, if I may use that word. Waste, to reduce all those things to the barest minimum. I remember the first 4 years it was corruption all over, anti-corruption all over, and all that. But then in the last 2 years, we see. So it's like saying, if I may use plumbing analogy, it's like saying we have a pipe that burst some time ago. We came and we fixed it. And we say we fixed it. And yet we keep pumping water through that same pipe. The pumping machine is on and the tank is not getting full. And the tank has not been full in 3 days. What would your first thoughts be? That the pipe is leaking somewhere again.
Or you probably didn't fix it well. So if they say this government is more prudent and the tank is not getting filled and we have to keep pumping water for over 3 days, then there's a problem somewhere. They should tell us what the problem is. Oh, absolutely. your fuel is going, or whatever it is you're using to power that pumping machine. So that is the same thing. We keep pumping funds into the economy. The economy keeps getting worse. The papers, the Bureau of Statistics keeps telling us that it's getting better. But on the streets, we know that it's getting worse. Yes, exactly.
So when they come up with such grandiose statements these days, all I do is this.
Well, this I want to counter you what the Northern Elders Forum said recently. Yes, from their spokesman, I was reading it yesterday. He said Nigeria doesn't need that. 2023, Nigerians should open their eyes. They don't need a president as bad as the current president.
And yet, somebody else said last week that he prays we have the same kind of president in 2020. And yes, it was last week.
Yes.
And remember my knee-jerk reaction to that. Who will say it on air?
And I want to, I don't know. Muji, if you tell me, if I've not met you before and you tell me you're fair in complexion, very fair, and I'm meeting you for the first time and you're darker than me,
you'll be wondering,
is it this Muji or
was I talking to somebody else?
I don't know Muji. Exactly. So you can't keep telling us the same thing over the years.
And yet we see it every day. Everybody knows that things are worse now. Even the person that has not gone to school, you go and meet the woman selling boli, the roasted plantain at the roadside, and she can categorically tell you what her expenditure was 6 months ago and what it is now.
Yes.
In the light of what her profits are, and yet you're saying it's working. It's working on which level?
I don't know. And every day by day, look at what is happening between the dollar and the naira.
You understand?
You keep saying the economy is getting better. You're working on the economy. You're pumping money, but every day the demand for dollar keeps
apart from that,
high.
Reading further down, what he's actually saying is that the Buhari-led regime is doing a good job. In short, it's that they're not wasteful. He says it's CBN that has the fault because of the dollar to the naira roller coaster, whatever. And that if they can work on the exchange rate, then it will be obvious that and then we ask, so who is government? Who is CBN? Is CBN autonomous? Do you understand? So it's all these statements that just, and you're like, please. You read those headlines and you're like, not this morning.
No, not today again.
Not today again.
Oh my God, I didn't plan waking up like this.
So they say there's nothing like reckless borrowing. Nigeria's borrowing, both with the reference to the debt/GDP and the debt/revenue ratio, is still below the permissible economic threshold of below 60% and 46% respectively.
Wow.
Let us move on.
I think it's better.
Let us move on. So let's talk about something in the tech area. Let's move away from money and insecurity and talk about technology this morning. And it says, the headline says, Nigerian government approves 5G deployment. That's the 5th generation network in Nigeria.
Yes.
And Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim, everybody knows him as Fantami, announced the approval after the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. And he has directed the Nigerian Communications Commission to commence immediate implementation of the 5G plan for the country. And it will be rolled out in major cities where there is need for high quality broadband. You remember the drama that happened
major
about
cities first? Yes.
You remember the drama that happened about the 5G, COVID, vaccines,
and the rest of them, and what do you call it now? All of them put together.
And the Antichrist,
exactly.
Everything.
The drama was out of this world last year, and it came right at the time of COVID-19 pandemic, and
I heard all sorts of theories, you know, and I found it highly amusing. I'm like, what is the correlation? Like, how do people make the leap between 5G and COVID-19? Like, how did that come together? And you know, high profile people too actually truly believed it.
There are so many theories that came out as regards that. Some people speaking for, some people against it, some people saying it doesn't make sense, you're postulating this kind of theory, saying this and that and that. But all we know is that 5G is here to stay.
It's here to stay.
Yes, and just like other G's that came,
I mean, we started with what, 2G?
2G,
and then, in fact, when the switch from 3G to 4G became safe, a lot of us didn't realize it.
Yeah,
we just woke up one morning and saw, oh nice.
Then if you purchase a new SIM or you do swap, you just discover it is 4G.
So I guess that's all happened with the 5G, and well done to the tech people.
Yes.
For those of us that still have reservations, I know a lot of people would still argue about it. The advice is don't buy a new phone.
Don't buy a new phone. Don't get a new SIM card.
Don't get a new phone. Don't bother. Don't bother.
Yeah. And for those who are also scared of the Antichrist, we are for those of us who are for Christ, we feel we fear not anything any man can do, and we believe solely that the wisdom a man has to produce anything is given by God. So
absolutely,
yes, the earth and the fullness thereof.
Earlier on, you mentioned the Northern Elders Forum, and they're back in the news.
Okay.
And the headline is interesting. It says, "We regret supporting Buhari in 2015."
That's right.
They've been saying a lot. Yesterday, they talked about how we should vote for a Nigerian. We should vote for a Nigerian president and not a southern or northern and all that president.
Not a tribalistic or.
And now they're saying, is there any Nigerian? And this is quoted from their spokesperson.
Yes.
And he was speaking on Arise TV's breakfast program on Tuesday, and he says, is there any Nigerian who is not disappointed in President Buhari, including the die-hard All Progressives Congress member? Is there anybody who would not tell you he wished President Buhari had done much better? We raised huge expectations. We told people, get rid of Jonathan, put Buhari, he would fix corruption, he would fix insecurity, he would fix the economy. But look at where we are now. I think he's not saying anything that we've not said over and over again. and we're saying, look, personally, I don't know him. I don't have anything against him as a person.
Yeah.
For all we know, for all Nigerians know, he could be like the best of people. But we cannot judge your intentions.
It's true.
We can only judge your results.
And
your
of course,
actions.
good intentions doesn't necessarily mean good results and all that.
My brother, good intention doesn't translate to money in my account. I can't take good intentions and buy Gary in the market.
That's true,
or pay
yes.
my children's school fees.
Yes, good intentions doesn't necessarily result to good decisions.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
yeah,
you know, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, actually believed that he was the answer to Nigeria's problem.
Yes.
Genuinely believed it.
yes,
But track record. You said you would stop corruption. You said you would stop in a very short time. In fact, that's the one that breaks my heart. You said in a very short time, the matter of insecurity will be stamped out decisively. Yes. And what was the third thing? You said you would work on the infrastructure of the country to build the economy and encourage foreign investments into the country. So if a child wrote a 3-question exam and failed all 3 questions, what will we say about the child? He failed the exam.
He failed, yes. He failed.
I mean, think about it. Again. Because they say, oh, he still has 2 years to go. But think about it, still using the exam analogy. If you have you know how all those exams go, where you have question 1A, 1B, 1C, and you have 3 questions like that, 1, 2, 3, all 3 are compulsory.
Yes.
And 20 minutes to the end of the exam, you've not answered question 1A successfully. What is the guarantee that you would be able to finish all 3 by the time, when it's time up?
Yes.
It's not like football where in injury time, people can actually score. It's not.
No, even in football, that anything can happen. It depends on the score margin. So it depends on.
Okay, so if we had 5-0.
Yes, and you have
60 minutes. I mean 90 minutes.
Yes, and
you have 3 minutes injury time. Nothing.
There's no remedy.
There's nothing you can do
so
about it.
Also using your exam analogy, in the last. Maybe the exam is 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes, and you're in the last 10 or 15 minutes and you've not done anything.
You've not finished question 1A.
Yes, I don't know how you're going to perform the magic. So we had the first 4 years, didn't work. We kept blaming the previous government.
Oh yes.
Yes, and then we entered the second administration or tenure, and
I don't think any sane person can still continue to blame the previous
look
government.
at what he's saying here. So he says, so what we need to do now is to get ready to elect another president who would go in the opposite direction, a president who has a vision and a clear idea of what governance involves, rather than just being a president. What he's saying, that the current president was just focused on being a president and not on governance.
But you know what he has said?
Yes.
Like I said, it's coming a bit late, but he is trying to say that, okay, we've made a mistake and we've seen the error of our ways, and this is the solution going forward, and I 100% agree with him. And you know, my cry and my message all this while has been, look, let's stop voting based on sentiments. Not party sentiments, not tribal sentiments, not religious sentiments,
yes.
But on track record. What have you done? I mean, when you're going to employ somebody in your organization, the first thing you ask for is years of experience. You want qualifications and then years of experience.
Yes.
What have you done? A common question in interviews is, have you ever found yourself in this situation before? What did you do? How were you able to come out of it?
Yes.
So I think that's the questions. We should begin to look for our presidents or vote for our presidents based on these criteria. What have you studied? What did you read?
I just hope Nigeria will get to that point, because now to win election, the presidency election in Nigeria, you have
any election is about money.
Yes, I'm talking about the presidency now. You have to get a particular number of votes from each of the regions, the northern region and southern region.
Yes.
And then now, if you gain all the votes from one side and you don't from the other side, it's going to be a problem.
Absolutely.
Now, the voters, how much education of who they are supposed to vote, how much of
you have a point there, and I
Yes.
think that's where the media should actually come in and go on an all-out campaign, not for anybody, but to say this is what you should look for in your next president. This is the kind of person. And then let's look at, okay, if these people are bringing this person, is he the kind of person, we don't care what party he's from, he's not the kind of person, we put him aside.
Yeah.
Is this, oh, they said it on the radio, they said it in my native language, that look, this is the kind of person that would take us out of this. You know, if we can actually create that awareness and say, let's leave all this drama and movies, because it's beginning to sound like
I was on the road.
Tales by moonlight.
I was on the road recently, and I wanted to purchase something from petty traders on the road, and the prices they were calling, I was like, why is it so high? And they told me things are very expensive now. I said, well, when it was time to vote, you voted for who brought bags of rice and give you...
If it was even up to a bag of rice, you even be saying it's a bag of rice, it fed your family for 6 months.
But
it was what, 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira. I heard some people sold their votes for 500 naira.
Yes,
that they probably did
I mentioned all those
spot.
chicken changes. Do you know what their response was? That how does the high costs of what they are selling relate to who they voted?
Yeah.
I said that is
and
the
that
problem.
is the mass ignorance that is plaguing us.
Exactly, that is the problem. When they bring these little things to you and they pacify you, they make you believe in them, and you go vote them, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing.
The
There are people that
are
if we had good governance over these 6 years and getting to 8 years now, there are people that their fortunes must have probably changed for the better, much better. But they are probably somewhere, you know, wasting away and not knowing what they are doing with their lives because of the way the country is right now. And so many people don't have the education to know what they are supposed to do.
So I think that is the challenge for the media now.
Is it just the media?
I mean, look, that it's a starting point. It's a starting point to say, if you tell, I mean, people forward ridiculous.
Have access to
my brother, people forward the most ridiculous things. I mean, I get things forwarded to me by the most unlikely people. Everybody forwards something or the other.
Okay.
And if different media outlets and outfits can come together and say, okay, this is the message we want to pass across. Trust me, the brother pushing Amalanke on the street will get that video. I'm looking for the English word. The wheelbarrow. Forgive me. Forgive me. The wheelbarrow on the street.
Yes.
The vulcanizer. The woman selling corn by the roadside. They get these videos. Oh, they do. In fact, they share them faster than we do.
Let's even go further. What of the Fulani man looking somewhere in the forest who believes his life
he has a radio, he has a smartphone.
Yes.
Of course, he has a smartphone.
What information does he get from that phone? Is it a lopsided information? Is it a holistic one? What kind of information does he get? How is he exposed to different opinions? All right. Does he know that in a modern world, he can even rear his cow, but in a modern way?
That one is
that will earn him much more.
By the time we vote the right person, then that person will now take up that challenge.
Who is voting? Who is going to vote the right
So that
person?
is what I'm saying. If we can go out there and get the word out that, look, this is what you should look for. This is the reason for your problem.
Will you follow me tomorrow?
No, while I will go to the market. But on that note, we're going on a short break now. And when we return, we'll be continuing with the headlines this morning. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is now streaming on ACNN. Viewers, we look forward to hearing from you, so please call in with your thoughts, your comments on the headlines we're discussing this morning. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. So Charles, let's move on to back to terror. Okay. And we have the Attorney General. He's been very busy and very vocal in the last few days. We have the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, who has disclosed that the federal government has identified sponsors of terrorism and is determined to prosecute them. And they're working to leave no stone unturned in the prosecution of the financiers of Boko Haram and its fight in its fight against terrorism in the country. Okay. This he said yesterday. He says investigation has reached advanced stages and the government will make a statement in that direction in due course. He noted, however, that the time was not ripe for holistic disclosures so as not to preempt the investigation process. And this is the first intelligent thing. Forgive me, I'm hearing about this whole issue since it started.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it was the day before yesterday that someone was saying that their work is not to name and shame, and I'm like, how does that make sense? You know, but if you're saying you're not saying their names for investigation purposes, for security purposes. Yes.
There is also
you should have said that first.
There's also another reason given to that. I think it was the Minister of Information that gave that reason that because they are taking legal actions against these people, it might not be wise to name or to use the naming and shaming method for now, because these people, they might take it to court and court will rule for them and they will end up suing you for defamation and the rest of it. Yes.
It's okay.
Yes. Yeah, so
but then I like this. I actually like this. I like this statement. They're saying, looking, and then he goes further to say, as far as terrorism funding and financing is concerned, we have succeeded in identifying those that are allegedly responsible for funding same, and we're blocking leakages associated with funding while embarking on aggressive investigation that is impacting positively in the terms of fight against terrorism. And I hope it's not just Boko Haram sponsors they're looking at. I hope they're also looking at the Killer Fulani herdsmen as well. Yes, it's all part of the insecurity. And the truth about it is, if you can break the backbones of these two, although they've refused to proscribe the Fulani herdsmen as a terrorist group, but if their backbone is broken, then all the other small ones that have been dancing around will be like, maybe this is no longer so lucrative anymore. Yeah. And so yeah, I wish them all the best in their investigations. I hope that the people involved don't run out of the country.
That's the thing. I was going to say, you know,
they
some of
these call on Interpol so that we all know what's going on.
Some of these activities that are carried out at the backstage, if I'm use that phrase, that is not open to Nigerians, you never get to know what the process is like.
Absolutely.
And in Nigeria now, anything that is not done in the open or made open,
we
don't really trust it.
Because in times past, these things have happened and the matter just dies in our shoulders. Yes. We don't hear about it anymore. Yes. And life just goes on. And Nigerians are a very happy people. We turn the thing to memes, and that's
so many
life
things.
Just moves on.
Former EFCC chairman Magu, we didn't get to hear how his case
even
ended.
if we don't get to hear anything again.
Yes, so many things.
And you know, when you look at these things, you're like, so when somebody is saying that we won't name them and shame them, that is not what we came here to do. your response is to take, you remember that can of salt I talk about, that everybody should have a can of salt in their bags. So anytime they take a pinch of salt and use it to swallow. So we're not taking this one with a pinch of salt.
Okay.
We believe
we believe God for
the
that.
Attorney General. We believe what he said.
We believe God for him.
And still on banditry, we now have in Sokoto State, a mob burns down Sokoto Security Commissioner's house. They went to the residence of the commissioner and set it to fire before proceeding to the residence of the district head and smashing the windscreen of his vehicle. And this is an eyewitness account.
Wow.
And it says youth allegedly angered by the absence of the Sokoto State Commissioner for Security and Career Service, Garba Mui, at a meeting over incessant killings and abductions in their area, have burnt down his house.
Oh, wow.
And then they vandalized the house of the village head. The commissioner was in the state capital at the time of the incident.
So the youths were like, okay, since you don't want to be available for us to protect us, let's render you homeless.
Two wrongs have never ever made a right.
It's a negative action and never encouraged anywhere.
But you see, the line, they say the line between sanity and insanity is a very thin one. And when it comes to mob insanity, trust me, it spirals out of control very fast.
The happenings are making the country is getting more volatile every day. People, especially the youths, are becoming more restive. When they expect you to do something, and you're not, you don't seem to be doing it. You don't seem to be. You go political with every single thing, especially with the issue of security of lives and property. This is what you get. I mean, it's not what we pray for, it's not what we advise.
But then the thing is this, again, we cannot read his intentions. For all we know, he possibly was at the state capital fighting their cause. But body language, a meeting had been set up. Attend the meeting. Tell them, if you know what, I don't have answers for you now, but I'm going to get answers.
Engage them.
It's as simple as that.
I remember some time ago, some years back, in my village, then there were issues of robberies. The village head gathered the whole village and said, we have to tackle this ourselves. And the youth started taking turns to form vigilante, and they started taking turns to be vigilant and to secure the whole place in the night. You understand? Engage these people. Sometimes some of these people that you see, they can play a part. But when they set up meeting and you don't show up, no good reason or
no representation,
you make them feel like I can't attend your meeting or whatsoever. I mean, it will probably backfire like we are seeing here.
So it's like
unfortunate the country has gotten to this
we don't know why
extent.
He was not there.
Yes, and the leaders,
his people too don't know why he was not there, and they interpreted it the way they felt.
Exactly. Probably he's been doing it.
We don't know.
It was a Oba Oni of Ife some time ago saying that they, the traditional rulers, they are the people that are closer to the these communities, the youths, and the rest of them. And if there is a case of violence, they are probably the ones to easily get attacked, not the politicians and all that. So I think a village head should be able to or a traditional ruler have this kind of responsibility, that I'm the one close to these people. I mean, when there's a case, this kind of cases, I should be able to engage these people and find a solution. And for such a meeting, for you to miss such a meeting, there should be a message.
There should be a message. There should
be a message.
A message. And I think we can round up on that note to say that, like we said, spread the word around. Let everybody know this is the kind of person we want. Such that, and let them also know the implications of selling their votes and how it is because they sold their votes in the past that they've now become what that the country has become what it has become. And then secondly, to our leaders, we cannot read your intentions no matter how good.
So you have to make it known.
So tell us.
Engage us.
Just tell us anything.
No, not anything. The right thing.
You know, but don't give off the body language of we don't really care what happens to you, the repercussions. And to the young people out there, it is frustrating. Don't take out your frustrations on inanimate objects.
Yes.
Find a way of positively taking out.
Probably if the report said they went to the state capital to go get him to be part of the meeting, I would have been
different. And on that note, Charles, it's been a great morning with you this morning.
It is.
To our crew, you know you're the best. We all know you're the best. Yes. And viewers, thank you so much for the little time shared this morning. We will meet tomorrow, same time, same station. Don't forget to call in tomorrow when you join us, and have a wonderful day.